Hey guys, Tomboy601, and today I want to talk about Star Wars Battlefront 2's campaign. Because if you've been following along on the channel, you saw we just finished up the campaign, and I just wanted to give my thoughts and opinions on it because they're kind of mixed. So like I was saying, my feelings with the campaign are kind of mixed, and really more of a letdown just because of the way it ended. It ends so abruptly. And I feel like we were lied to with this campaign. Like, all of the advertising was play as the Empire. And I was like, sweet, this whole campaign we're going to be able to see the other side. What do we get? We get 3 missions. Ugh. Beyond that, we also were like, oh, and you're going to play from Return of the Jedi all the way to The Force Awakens. Like, you're going to span that thing. And it turns out that's not the campaign we got with this game at all. We got the 6 months to a year after the after Return of the Jedi, but beyond that, it really wasn't much. Now, for what I liked, the positives, I think the first 3 missions were great. I was all in. I was like, sweet, we're playing as the Empire. I was having a great time with those missions, and because it was a different side we hadn't seen before in the Star Wars universe. It was something that in mainstream media hadn't been depicted. And as someone who really enjoys Star Wars, it was great to see the conflict from the other side. That being said, what was up with Operation Cinder? Like, oh, let's just nuke our own people because that will get people in line. No, it won't. No, it won't. That just tells people, oh, if you're loyal, even if you're loyal, they'll go after you. It seemed like really weird. Like, at first, I thought what was happening with Operation Cinder is they're taking that planet and they're going to turn it into Starkiller Base. It's like, oh, that's really cool. They're like, yeah, it sucks that like this one planet has to get nuked, but they're doing it to create Starkiller Base, and then maybe we're going to go out on missions and start protecting Starkiller Base. Like that was going to be the plot. And then we changed sides. Why? Why did we change sides? I get that they wanted to get the hero cameos in there. They wanted to be like, oh, you play as Luke. Oh, you play as Han. Oh, you play as Lando. Oh, you play as Leia. But, like, I didn't need that in my life. Really, I didn't need to play as all those. The Luke one, I didn't mind the Luke one because I was like, oh, okay, we're both here at the same time. We're going to see it from just the other side, and maybe that's how all the hero things are going to go. Maybe if they're on the other side, we're going to encounter Inferno Squad that way. At least with Luke, it was like, oh, okay, I can see how this is going. This is interesting. Hopefully, this is the only one that's like this. But no, the fact that we turned sides just so easily. Like, if you're an elite special forces operative of Iden Verso for the Imperials, first off, you know the Empire's blown up a whole fucking planet. It was called Alderaan. It's gone. How is this any worse than what they did to Alderaan? And why are you all of a sudden turning? Like, I guess the Alderaan did have some rebellious tendencies, but that shouldn't change the fact that you blew up a whole planet. And if you had been brainwashed from such a young age, I don't think that would have mattered to you. Like, as a person, I don't think Iden earned her switch over from the dark side to the light side. Like, it just didn't feel earned. Now, moving on, like, mechanics-wise to the campaign, if they wanted to keep the Star Wars tourism thing going of like, oh, we're going to throw in a hero mission here, why not use some of the Empire people? Like, why not give me a mission as, like, I know technically Vader's dead. We know, like, a lot of the bad guys are dead, but you know who I would have loved to play a mission as? Bosk. Like, you didn't have to use the known people, and that's because as a big Star Wars fan, like, when we see the fact that we get to play as Han and them, we don't get that excited. We're like, oh, you're going for the low-hanging fruit here. Like, you're not actually trying. You're just doing the bare minimum. But if you went and picked up that obscure character, if you're like, oh, you're going to go play as Bosk in this mission, like, Bosk is teaming up with you to help you attack this rebel thing, or Bosk is teaming up with Inferno Squad, that would be awesome. Like, getting to play as him, and you know what? It helps serve the player because now me as a Star Wars fan who's like, oh, yo, I know my boy Bosk standing in the background with Dengar and all them other bounty hunters in Empire Strikes Back. Like, that is literally his only appearance. And just to be able to see him, like, and play as him, that'd be cool, because as a Star Wars fan, I get something I've never done before. And as like, if I'm just a casual person, then I get to learn about a Bosk and like, oh, cool, here's this character that wasn't really formed in the movies that I now get to play as. Like, that is what would have been really cool. One other thing that can be said about this campaign is it did feel kind of restrictive. It felt kind of restrictive on where you could explore. Like, you could go along the certain path that developers wanted you to take, but if you went out of bounds to try to explore to find the collectibles or something like that, then you're deserting and you're leaving, and you get that black and white, and it felt very restrictive, which is kind of odd because most of these were made for multiplayer maps, which are huge and therefore should have been very explorable, and they might have wanted to kind of emphasize that. One thing where that didn't come into effect was that Battle of Jakku mission, where you fly in with an X-Wing, you take a couple people out, you go over, and you land on the ground, and you take other people. Like, that felt like the coolest mission, and I wish there was more missions like that, because that made me feel like I was playing Battlefront 1 again, not the one from a couple years ago, but the original Battlefront 1. Because if you remember in that game, part of that was there were ships on the ground, and at any point you could get in one, start flying around, doing in-atmosphere combat with other pilots, and then if you wanted to land behind enemy lines or do something like that, you could to go capture a point. That was such a cool mechanic in that game, and it was cool to see them almost bring it back. Like, it was harkening back to that, but it was also making this world feel just as ginormous, as huge as a Star Wars universe is. Like, seeing the Battle of Jakku, flying in it, and then realizing that you could fly across it and go assist other people, that gave you a sense of scale as to how big this battle was. And the rest of the game just didn't feel like it had that scale. And I'm wondering, like, what happened with it? Like, was there originally a all Empire campaign that was supposed to actually happen, and then the bigwigs came and said, you know, there's no Han, there's no Chewie, I don't know if we can make this, if this is going to be successful. Like, what happened with this campaign? Because it started out so strong and it ended strong. So it had two really good bookends, but the middle kind of died out. Well, okay, the end wasn't the greatest because it's kind of a cliffhanger. In fact, in a couple of weeks, we're going to get more content for the campaign, which is kind of weird. Like, I would have expected a campaign to be a full campaign, not just, you'll get other, you know, not to end it so weird. So yeah, guys, those were my thoughts on Battlefront 2's campaign. What were yours? Let me know down in the comments. If you like this video, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. See ya.